Okay. So yesterday where I kind of left off, I feel like that's kind of tilted. I tilt it back, kind of. I don't know. It's probably kind of tilted. I'm trying to keep it straight up, but I don't know. It's hard to make the phone do whatever. So yesterday, before I got interrupted, I was talking about getting hit in the head with a chair. That woman, asking me if I'd ever, over the ringing in my ears, if I'd ever been hit in the head. And then it was all like flashing back to me when she said that. But the getting the hit in the head with the chair, that was, my dad was trying to hit my mom. I think I've talked about this, a while back. But yeah, he was trying to hit my mom. I just got hit by accident. But still, I mean, that doesn't matter, who it was aiming for. It affected me. So, it's part of my story of my life. And, and being down swimming and not having any idea. Like, I didn't even know my parents. I don't even think I knew my parents were outside at this point. I think that I thought that they were still inside. Or maybe they were sitting over on the deck. I mean, on the patio, like the covered patio thing. And then I think they must have been fighting over there or something. But I was busy playing in the water. And then she started walking and he picked up the chair and tried to hit her with it and hit me in the face right as I came up out of the water. And so it was just, as I broke the water, I was just smashed right in the face and just blood went everywhere. And it's a weird feeling when something happens like that you don't see coming. It wasn't like I saw it, the chair flying towards me and could even put my hands up. It was just like I came up, and then you're coming up fast in the water, like you're plunging up to the top. You can break the water and just smack right in the face. I think that's what it's like too for some people when you die in an instant, in an emergent or like a tragic accident or something, like split second, like a person being murdered and they don't know they're being murdered or something. Because that could have killed me. Getting hit in the head with the chair like that and being a kid. But when something happens like that, like in an instant, I think that is why that there's some souls that kind of just linger around, because it is confusing. It's like, what the fuck just happened? And but yeah, it did give me some kind of scar tissue. Broke my nose too, but some kind of scar tissue will get really swollen. It used to get so swollen, but like I said the other day, who knows? Maybe it's still swollen. But after that one, was my first husband that I was trying to leave, and he just went completely mental. I think it was the loss of control. It wasn't like, I was so important to him. It was definitely the loss of control. He had to control me, and he had to control his environment to not feel insane. So many people are like that. And but some people, will go to all lengths. Everybody has a different line. His line was pretty far. And when he was sitting there, contemplating if he should murder me, I know that's what he was doing. I mean, I could feel it. I knew exactly what he was thinking. And I was terrified. I was just sitting there on the ground, terrified. Like, I couldn't get past him to get upstairs to get my kids. He was blocking the stairs, sitting right. I'd have to go past him to get to the stairs. And I could feel how unstable he was. I didn't want to even freaking barely breathe because I didn't know what was going to set him off. I didn't know where that giant knife was that he had bought. It was freaking huge, and I'm terrified of knives. And the blade, just the blade alone, was like as long as, not as long as my forearm, but, I guess as long as my wrist and my hand. Like, the blade was so freaking long, and then it had, a handle. It was some kind of hunting knife. I don't know what the fuck you hunt with that thing, but it was creepy shit. And I knew that was, fuck. I did not want that to be. And, so I was just sitting there just or God, the angels, whoever, it wasn't, there's been so many times when I've been protected, so many times, and my brother just comes walking in all of a sudden, just out of the blue. It was so weird. And then he, like, I don't know, he was super young. I was probably oblivious to the tension, and he says something like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he just stands up like a fucking robot, doesn't say shit, and just, I don't know that he looked at, I guess he looked at me. I was just looking straight ahead, just focused on my breathing, like, be calm, be calm, be calm. And then all of a sudden it was just like, wham, right up the side like that. It was so hard. Blood started coming out of my ear. But he had strangled me where I had bruises on my throat and stuff. He was like 100 pounds bigger than me. He was big. He was scary. Plus, he just had those dead eyes. Like, creepy. One of the things, too, I was thinking about this the other day is when people, I don't think that they realize sometimes that they let evil in. Like, that energy. When they entertain it, it's like they let it in. And depending on how comfortable it gets, it can just live in there. And it can, mislead you. It can use your ego and use it can manipulate your mind. And it can live in you and tell you do this and do that. And, oh, yeah. Oh, you should do that. That person deserves that and stuff. It will, and there's a lot of people who just don't even know. They think like, oh, this is my own thoughts. This is who I am. I'm just this way. And, they're so out of touch with themselves. They have no idea who they are. I knew she'd be coming. She knows. She knows. Hi, lady. Hey, I'm still talking. I know you like to knock over my table and interrupt me, but I'm kind of talking. I'm kind of busy here, lady. That's okay. Why don't you go back and lay back down and take more nap? Well, I love you too. But, a lot of people just don't get that they let it in. It's not free will. You have to allow it in. But the thing is, the biggest problem is they just have no awareness of what it is they're doing. All these people. Hold on. Gonna get through before I come back in. It's like pouring rain. I don't even know if you can tell from behind me. Probably not. It's so dark out. So dark. It's just dark and wet and cold and shitty. So, yeah, I don't think a lot of people have, the awareness of what they're letting in with this dark energy. And, some people just get taken over by it. And, they think they don't even have an awareness of what's going on because they think it's protecting them, because that's how the ego will work. The ego can be manipulated really, really bad towards somebody. And I think so many people just, they think that their brain is just manufacturing thoughts, by, I don't know, DNA. It just, some people get a certain brain and some people get this other certain brain, and it's just sitting there manufacturing thoughts. I don't see it that way. I see it as a receptor of information. You have information come into you from other sources outside of you. Some is for guidance, some is to fuck with you. You've got to have discernment. You've got to be tuned into yourself, tuned into what the hell's going on. I know I talk about this all the time. I'm probably freaking like a broken record about it. But it's so important for people to just, once they wake up, it's just, it's so crazy. This is just so crazy. I just didn't know this brainwashing MK Ultra or whatever they've done to everyone's minds could be this so strong like this. You know, there's still supposed to be something big that's supposed to be coming, that's going to just really make people have to see the truth. You know, I hope it hurries. This is my mom, right before I started this, you know, she texted me and she's like, I just don't know how much longer I can go on with this. This is horrible. Watching these certain groups of people just destroying everything and, you know, ruining our country and people's jobs and people's lives and stuff. It's just, I can't watch it. I refuse to watch, you know, I'm not giving them my energy. It's disgusting. And but this morning when I did my, you know, went on YouTube and see what messages, because now I'm kind of like curious, because I'm kind of on a roll. 3 days, 2 messages each day, completely different people, each of the days for the last 2 days. But I've had the same message for, you know, months and months, the same messages. Like it's been, it's weird. Like when you know it's talking to you, you'll know. I've said that before. You'll just know. I mean, the person will be talking about personal things about you and things that are going on exactly in your life, the exact things that you're thinking about it. And then it will talk about the things that you're thinking about. So it's such confirmation. It's not like you go to it and it's like, oh, what should I do today? What should I do? I guess I should go and see what tarot says. It's not like that. You know, if you're using tarot or your insights, your intuition or something, like it's not like a sideshow act, you know. But tarot is when you are questioning, like, am I going in the right direction? You know, what's going on? Then it does give you more insight. You know, it just does. It's oh my gosh, what was that, like 2 minutes? Gosh. Oh, man. Okay. You're gonna have to come in. I'm sorry, honey. It's a shitty day. It's raining. It's shitty out. Winter was not quite over. But, well, there was something else I was going to talk about. I have no idea what the fuck I was talking about. The tarot thing, because I was gonna lead into the other show. So the tarot thing, it was the 3rd day. It was the exact same stuff, exact same cards, and the exact same messages. And I'm really curious. I'm not going to talk about the stuff because it's more on a personal level of what is stuff that they're telling me, and then I go and watch that, and it's like the cards say it, and they're like, I told you, this is what, you know, this is what's happening. And but you know, I'll say like, oh my gosh, what's what they said. It's more confirmation. So we'll see. We're still in the waiting phase. But, you know, you should always be just positive that everything is going to be for your best interest, even if things don't seem like it. You know, there's so many things that happened for me that I would have thought, oh, you know, life's out to get me. And, but it's what it takes in you to get through stuff. It is that what builds you, and the resilience and the strength that you find inside yourself is just, you know, it's worth the things you go through, but you don't know that beforehand. And when you go through them, it's painful, but it's the coming out the other side. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's breaking through the wall. That's the parts that is so fantastic for your soul. So after I watched those, then this movie had popped up. Oh, it was older. I know I'd seen it before. like a British crime thriller, serial killer guy. And it was one that, Chimo, and a sick, real warped weirdo. Of course, it was a doctor or a surgeon, somebody who was good with a knife. And completely warped weirdo, get mannequins and dress them up, have tea parties with these little things. Before he would kill them, he would steal something of theirs and put them on the little dolls, and he'd pretend like they're them, and he used this little puppet to lure, and the puppet would give him candy and stuff, and then he'd lure them. So, and that just, there's so much about the stuff going on right now, the Chimo stuff, and all of the rings and this sicko stuff that's been going on. And so that there was stuff on Twitter anyways, and then that stuff, watching that and just like, oh my God, this is real. This is real stuff. This isn't like in our imagination. There's probably 10 of those guys. And it just really irked me. And I said a couple things on Twitter. And somebody DM'd me and said, you seem to have anger issues. You could just keep going and saying that stuff. It's true, but be careful. I'm like, well, I think there's so many people now speaking out about this stuff. I don't think that they could keep up. If they want to run around suiciding everybody, I don't think that they could keep up. And if that's, how I'm going to go, then that's how I'm going to go. At least I spoke out about the truth. And it's disgusting. And after that one, though, another movie came on. And I don't remember if it just came on next, or if I went out of there and then I was looking for something else to watch. But either way, it's probably algorithm kind of thing, because it was another movie about a kid. But this kid was in the 70s, and it was a true story. And when it first started, I was like, oh, no way, this cannot be true. This is freaking wacky. And, it kept going and going, and it just was like, oh my gosh, what in the fuck is this movie about? I don't understand. Is it about this person? Is it about this person? Is it about, like, what happens between these two people? I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was so confused. And then, I kept watching it, and then it, started making more sense. But it was still, I don't know. If it's the 70s or something, it's hard to follow the storyline. I'm not sure. I think the movie was made in the 70s, but it was definitely made about the 70s. And so it was this little girl, and I'd seen about her before. If it's the same one, maybe there's several. And this is another thing that it was like super sad, because it's true. The story is true. At the end, it even told what happened with all the different people in the movie. And this girl, she's a little kid. They found her. I don't remember how they ended up finding her. Oh, I remember. The mom got the brother to set her and the little girl free. The mom had gone blind, so she had no idea what, was up in the house, nothing. She just knew her husband was off his rocker. And then she took the daughter, and she made her way to DSHS building and asked for some help. And they saw the daughter, and she was taken, and the woman was put in the hospital. She had to stand trial. The husband killed himself, and I don't know what happened to the boy. And I think I saw about it in the Inquirer a long time ago, if it was the same family. But there was also a movie, I think Jodie Foster played, and it was same kind of thing. I don't remember the backstory on it, but I wonder if it was based on this girl, because they called her the wild child, or I think she was called the wild child. But I guess so. What happened was that she was born, and she was doing something. I don't remember what it was. If she was slow about something, maybe. And then the doctor told the woman that she was retarded, that she was not even going to probably live to be 3. And so the dad, this happened around the same time as his mom died, who he was like a little too close to his mom, I guess. It really seemed that way. It was weird. And so the dad freaked out, and he locked the little girl in a cage, and then kept her in a cage for her whole life, and never, didn't hold her, didn't talk to her, didn't teach her words. She was 15 when she got out, and she was like the size of like I don't know, like 9-year-old. Just really, really small. And it took a long time to get her healthy too. And all the different people that were going in and out of this girl's life. That's why I kept thinking at the beginning, is this trying to show us the bureaucracy of the bullshit? Like, what the fuck? This is fucked up. The people, like, there was no stability. She was even put back into a foster home at some point. The dad killed himself. The mom got out of jail, got eye surgery, but then when the girl came to live with her, she couldn't handle the girl. And when the dad had locked her in the cage, he had become so fearful of doctors. He thought that they were going to take his little girl away, so he had to keep her in this cage. And the mom had decided, after all these years and years of hearing whatever he would say about doctors, that they were right. So she didn't want these people to touch her daughter, even though these people were a lot more caring and concerned about her daughter. Like, they were creating an attachment with this kid. And then just the bureaucracy that went on in this kid's life. Oh my gosh. And then, at one point, the mom had gotten her back and then wanted her to go into an institution. Then the mom, then they got a grant again and got the kid back. Then they got her in foster care. The foster care was like the same kind of dad. I was like, what the wacky shit? And that's where you can really see like a soul's journey. It was like, okay, this girl, what is the fucking chances of this? This guy is the exact same as her dad. So wacky, overly religious. Like, one of the foster kids was deaf and was trying to use sign language, and she wasn't allowed to use sign language. She had to use her words. She wasn't allowed to speak with her hands. And everything was the devil's work and stuff in this family. This family was so wacky. And it really was making me think, like, oh my God, how many poor foster kids went into these homes that were, these self-righteous people who thought that they could make these supreme little beings, I guess, that they had to fix what other people broke. It's like, how freaking arrogant. And that there's a lot of them out there. This wasn't just an isolated incident. We've heard all the stories about these kids being sexually abused and all sorts of stuff, made into little slaves in these houses. That they've just been the income and they need to just keep away from the people. These people who just turn their homes into some kind of, like, I don't know, mini school. They just boarding school. They just take in all these kids for the money. And, it's not forming a family. It's not creating bonds. It's not, it's not doing anything that's going to improve these kids' life. It's giving them well, not even in every case, a safe place to sleep. You know, there's some of these kids get sexually abused by other foster kids. I was like, oh my gosh. But this girl, she did bond a lot to certain people, but they became in competition with each other because they wanted to be the one who became famous, you know, healing her, saving her, whatever. And so then they would get taken away from her. And this one, she had kept wanting to get her back. She was the linguistic one. And she had a story written and about the wild child. And so she wasn't allowed to ever see her again. And when she, and I thought, for that poor girl, you know, she was institutionalized. Never, I don't know if she ever got out of the institution. But, you know, she had to learn everything. Like nobody had taught her to speak or love or anything. Oh my gosh, everything was just. And at the end, it was talking about, you know, that she never did develop any language skills, and that proves that development happens when you're really, really young. If you don't teach a child how to talk and communicate at a young age with you, then they can't do it as they age. And you know, who knows what happened, you know, what that girl's life was like. She was so misunderstood because not only was she delayed in some way, which, you know, could have been nutritional, could have been anything, but not only was she somewhat delayed, her barriers to what people's expectations were of her, you know, that it just kept her thing going. It was like her cycle. Just, I don't know. It just was, what a horrifying story. I mean, it was true. And I've just heard these stories along the time of my life of these horrible, horrible things that have happened to kids in their own homes, of being locked up and imprisoned, starved, made to do things that were breaking the law or breaking, you know, your ethical code. Just because your parent thinks it's okay to murder doesn't necessarily mean it's okay with you. So, you know, there's just been so many things throughout our time as a society that have all just been so sick, so diseased. And you know, it's all changing. All this stuff that has been is going to not be our future. But man, when you just look at this stuff and you're just like, oh man, the way people have treated people, what is so disconnected in them? You know, it is a disconnect. And it is all this brainwashing and this indoctrination and this mind control. It's just so nefarious. It's so against our rights as human beings. Because humans that's not a natural way of being. Like if we were just left, you know, if we just were plopped down on this planet, nobody was trying to take us over and control us and enslave us, you know, we would all be out there helping each other and having fun. You know, like in that movie, The Trolls, when that was popular, my granddaughter really liked it. And she'd come and sit with me and she'd want to watch that Trolls movie. I saw it quite a few times. But how the trolls were, if you've seen it, and they're all so happy. And the big ogre people, they want to eat the trolls because then they'll feel happy too. Because they need to eat the trolls to feel happy, because the trolls are also happy and excited and just have fun singing and dancing. That's basically what it is. We're the trolls. They've done all these things to mangle our minds, to control us, but once you lift that, we're the little trolls. We just want to have fun. We just want to dance and sing and love each other and eat good food and go around and see each other and experience things. That's all we want to do. They all have this other purpose, and they've made people into something that they're not, and people don't even know. So, but it was weird, having that come on like that, because it was stuff that I had been talking about before, about the people's reality being so altered. And your reality is what your life is. Like, these people who have lived those realities have no idea what it is to experience life as, a kid that comes from a well-to-do family, like, and has expectations and stuff. I mean, like, when you really think about all of the different experiences going on, and, they have no idea that this reality even exists. It's like totally different realities. And that is how we perceive the world, is from whatever our reality is, whatever we have become. And we have some control. We can become who we want to become, We do have control. We do have free will. It's breaking free of this system to give us that, but it's there for us. And we're all going to be grasping at it. We're all going to be taking hold of it. I feel like I feel like I broke free from their mind control, but you still have, even when you break free and you can recognize it, there still is so many of the paradigms that they built up that you still have to recognize in order to break them down, because there's so many of these rules and boxes upon boxes that they've put us in. It is truly, truly a hamster habitat that they've created for our minds. And it's so unreal. So, I feel like I'm just getting way too downer or something. It's a downer kind of day, I guess. So dark. Stella just snoozing away. I gave her some more of that CBD because she woke up just crying again. It's got to be something with this weather and the change of seasons that really make, like, I've had arthritis and sore joints before. It's super painful. It just aches. And you can't do anything about it, so. But that CBD stuff, it really is good. The new one I got for the dogs, that has the THC in it. And you give her just a couple drops. And she just snoozes, just relaxes. And she just is like, it's nice to just be able to see her just to really relax. Because she's, as a guard dog too, she's always like, something happening? What? That's why Winston being so high strung, the two of them together, Stella was always like, what's happening? Winston's just like, rah, 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 rah. It would always freak her out. She's so much calmer now that he's not in panic mode all the time. She's just so much of her just like sitting on the porch, watching people walk by. And nobody could walk by without Winston out there going insane. And it was even worse is, I think he started like losing his mind, because he would go out and he would start barking whoever was going by. But when Stella went up and tried to bark with him, he would turn and attack her. He just would keep attacking her. I would always feel bad for her. She'd always have to just like stand back, but she was always like, what's happening? What are we worried about? But then now that he's gone, she does a lot more of just laying and watching, or going out and sniffing the air as they go by. So cute. She's just so cute. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, you know those treats that I got, the more natural ones, they stink. I had read something about, because my mom and I went in and we started reading what some of them were, and then what they were made for, and how they made them and stuff. So it says stuff about some of those ones that they'll stink, and there's blood and urine coming out of these treats, and people don't know. It's really gross. They just think it's some kind of like liquid, but they said, well, you know, that these will have a smell. Not these ones. These ones are some kind of tendons or something, but they definitely have like a tendony smell or something, like dried old muscly. Grosses me out. I don't eat meat, so it grosses me out. But you know, I don't want to put that on her. I know she would choose to eat meat, so. But it's healthier. I'd rather have I put them in containers anyways. But it's just when you open them, it's like, whoa. Oh, and I'll also do an update also about the situation, all of this stuff that had been happening in the next door. I've just kept my distance, and I feel like she's probably having those Edgar Allan Poe kind of moments, because she's done some more weird stuff. But I think that it's probably, you know, I'm probably consuming her thoughts, you know, and people just don't realize, like those Edgar Allan Poe, it's your own guilt. It is your own self that is going to eat you alive. You can be just so pissed off at someone, it has no effect on them whatsoever. I'm just living my life. I'm doing my own things. I love to turn, you know, I've got to entertain myself because I'm here alone for a long time. And so turning on music and dancing, I just am really into music and movement. But turning on music and dancing, and, you know, I'll do little plays for myself, entertain myself, entertain, you know, my guides. So I'm completely happy, you know, I feel completely just like I've let go. I don't care. I don't have any kind of feelings about it at all. And any of the other situations. So it really helps if you go in when you've got some kind of situation going on. And it's going to, you know, be a little different for all the different ones. But it really does help to go in and, you know, get in touch with your feelings about it. And to really try and understand your feelings, and then to try and get yourself out of that emotional trap, because your emotions will trap you into your feelings. And in order to release your feelings, you have to release your emotions. You know, and maybe it's cry. Maybe it's just recognize, you know, how important some things are to you and just cry it out. Or, you know, and forgive yourself. They've made it a crime to be needy. Why? It's a crime to be needy. I mean, people need one another. I guess, you know, if you're putting your needs over someone else's, you know, but to feel like you need to have somebody to give you a hug sometimes, or somebody to sit and listen to you cry about something that's bothering you, that's not a crime. That's just, you know, connection with people. And everybody should be able to allowed to, you know, have that. And but there's been so many labels and so many things that just hold us down and hold us back and keep us from each other. And you know, there's just so many wacky things about the whole thing, and you're not allowed to talk about it. So, you know, we can't really talk about some of the stuff, but it's pretty wacky. I mean, you want to take biological males, biological females, turn them into something else. And somebody was talking about that is, you know, because these people that we're dealing with, they are I don't know what all words you can say. But they practice using energy and powers for negativity. And so they draw that energy from negative forces that some people label as certain kind of names and stuff. So, you know, those people are drawing on that energy, and I'm putting that out there. And what the hell was I gonna say? I don't know. Maybe my brain is turned off. I don't remember what I was gonna say. I was trying to say something about things you're not allowed to talk about. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff we're not allowed to talk about. I think that's all going to change too. I think that, you know, there's stuff going on in the courts and stuff, because it's our First Amendment rights. We have the right to talk openly and freely. That's, you know, human rights. The stuff that they're taking away from us is just, it's obscene. It's just so ridiculous. And, you know, it is. You just have to sometimes just turn it off. Turn off the TV. Stop listening to them. It's just going to get you pissed. And you have to take control of your own emotional state. And, you know, it's going to keep you, and that's part of their thing too, is to keep us all low and down and sad. And then we're feeding these entities that we have no awareness, that are sucking us dry. And then we've got the ones that are coming in and filling our heads with garbage. You know, it's all, this is no doubt what, you know, you would think of as being hell. You know? You don't have to be burning on fire to be in hell. But this trickery and this, so much bad stuff. I'll keep going and going. I'm just going to stop. But, you know, maybe tomorrow to be a happier day, a bright, sunny day, to be happier things to talk about. Because I really, you know, I want to just stay focused on where we're headed. You know, there's a lot of people talking about where we're at. And, you know, there's a lot of people that got me through it. That's for sure. You know, this is a rough year. I mean, when you're seeing what's happening with some of these people, like, they're locked in. They're scared shitless. Even when they say, oh, you don't need this anymore. Everything's fine, people. Even if they don't know a single person who died. It's wacky, man. Really wacky. So I just want to, you know, focus on, you know, the healing, how we can all heal as a nation, as a society, but as a species. You know, human beings have been abused in all manners by all different groups, you know. And so, you know, that's the kind of group that I want to build with. People who want to heal. They want to, you know, they want the world to be a better place. They're excited about the future. They see all the possibilities, and, you know, they're creators. You know, that's what I'm excited for. So, you know, I'm not going to just keep talking about bummer stuff. And, you know, I see this stuff, just so many things that become so clear, you know, that weren't clear, I guess, over time. But I'm going to go and find something else to do today. So have a great day. And, you know, just remember, things are going to get better. No matter where you're at in this journey, things are going to get better. We're going up. You know, we're getting out of the drudge, and we're moving up. And no matter how down it feels, it's a temporary situation, and things are going to get better. So stay positive. Talk to you later.